Happy anniversary, because it was 3 years ago this past week that you were sworn in as the first Black woman to the Supreme Court.
You're allowed to have faith. That's why I still like to listen to gospel music, because I still feel the power of what they're saying, and just letting your spirit and your energy take hold, knowing that it has a vessel. The vessel that you are in is good. Where I get into my humanism is I trust in the human body. I trust in human evolution. Humanity, think of the best human you can. You are that species. Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Milford, here for your creature comfort, and today I wanted to do another reaction video. This one's going to be to Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson reflects on life in the public spotlight. I am very interested to hear what you got to say about this, because I am somebody who is trying to be in the public spotlight. At least I'm trying to be an advocate. I'm trying to do what I got to do with my music. I'm trying to do what I got to do with my vessel here on YouTube as a commentary channel. I'm trying to get out there and get my image out there so I can have more of a voice to speak for the people that need to be spoken for. That's definitely a similar position that she's coming from. I've never really been in this for clout as much as I have been in it for. I want to say what's up. I want to say what I'm feeling, be open with the public, to have a community here, and for us to support each other on this channel, just in general, and encourage everybody to support each other. So yeah, everybody needs to be getting involved nowadays. Everybody needs to be getting into politics. Doesn't matter if you are justice, doesn't matter if you are just a regular, doesn't matter what your occupation is. If you are tuned in, if you have stuff that concerns you, speak up. We're gonna hear what you gotta say, because I know that it is tough for her, especially when it comes to people targeting her and things of that nature. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and all my stuff is down below.
We had a chance to speak with Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson at Essence Festival in New Orleans over the weekend. I met Justice Jackson at a conversation hosted by the Global Black Economic Forum. We had a wide-ranging conversation. It was a deep dive into her book.
I'm going to read this book. I had this book.
First 3 years on the bench and the direction of the court
I have a friend
and the
who I'm going to be
country.
reading it with, actually.
Roughly 45-minute conversation began as the justice walked out to Cheryl Lynn's iconic song, Got to Be Real, and read a passage from her book.
How was it, they wondered, that someone with such an unusual name and from such an unconventional background came to stand in such an unprecedented place, swearing an oath on two stacked Bibles that symbolized how far our nation had traveled?
Yeah. Ketanji is a beautiful name.
That was a portion of the passage she read. Here's part of our conversation with Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. Thank you for that, Justice Jackson, and we are so grateful for your time and the opportunity to have the conversation. Happy anniversary, because it was 3 years ago this past week that you were sworn in as the first Black woman to the Supreme Court.
It's hard to believe, but yes.
And I so vividly remember when President Biden was introducing you as a nominee, and you approached the podium, and among the first words you said was, "I do know that one can only make it this far by faith."
That is true.
And I think that must have resonated a lot with the people like me who grew up in church, and we sang the song, "We've come this far by faith."
You don't have to be Christian to have faith, you know?
That plays a big role in your story.
Yes.
Give us a sense of the role that faith plays in your life, in your success, in your trajectory.
Well, I've come from, as you suggest, a family of faith. In my book, I talk a lot about my grandparents. I started writing this book within a few months of the time that you talk about, that right after I was confirmed, because I knew that I had only been able to get this far because of the support that people had shown me and the direction that they had given me in terms of my own faith.
Feed off the public.
So my grandmother, who was the matriarch of our family, would take us to church when I was little. One of my biggest memories, the grounding memory for me, was going to Black church with my grandmother and singing the hymns and hearing the Bible stories and the verses, and that kind of grounding in who you are and where your help comes from has been very, very helpful for me.
The institution of Christianity, and any institutionalized religion, to be honest, historically has had a lot of issues, but we're not going to even go there. I understand, well, but I mean, like, when I was younger, my mother, no, I'm not doing this with you. When I was younger, my mother definitely took me to church. We went to Catholic school as well as church. I did. And she took me to church. I know a lot of the times when I was younger, my mother didn't seem to be very religious as far as like encouraging like God all the time outside of church. But I even asked her once when I was younger, like, why do we go to church? It doesn't feel like, are you yourself like very religious? She's like, no, but I want you to have like a foundation. Like basically what she said. Like I want you to just know the basic morals, have something regular to go to also. And it's, they definitely do teach like the basics. Love thy neighbor. Do not steal. Do not get, like all the basics is still there, regardless as to when you get into the nitty gritty of the Bible itself, how that different Bibles and this and that, and then how that impacts culture and hate and all that type of thing. That's separate. You're allowed to be religious. You're allowed to have faith. That's why I still like to listen to gospel music, because I still feel the power of what they're saying and just letting your spirit and your energy take hold, knowing that it has a vessel. The vessel that you are in is good. Where I get into my humanism is I trust in the human body. I trust in human evolution. Humanity, think of the best human you can. You are that species. I don't have to think that everything's on my shoulders at all times. We're all in this together. We all have similar questions. We all have existential crises here and there. We all are allowed to just let it go once in a while, especially when it comes to like just paranoia of death. You're not just random neurons like in this complete mistake of some shit. Whether or not you want to view life itself as a mistake is irrelevant. We're here all in this together. Even atheists, I'm sure, can probably relate to, like, you still are allowed to like let your body just do what it do. That's all.
You write at one point, I walk daily along corridors where few Black Americans have been, much less worked.
I'm sure.
And the Supreme Court was established in 1789. There were 115 justices before you. How much of a weight is it for you to be the first Black woman?
Well, again, I don't know if it's a weight. It is privilege. I feel extraordinarily lucky, given the background that I explained to you about the many, many Black women and men who could have been appointed and did not get appointed because of the times in which they lived. And so I think I feel enormously grateful. I think I'm aware that people are watching. They want to know how I'm going to perform.
You got to be aware of
in this job and in this environment. And so I'm doing my best work, as well as I can do, because I want people to see and know that I can do anything just like anyone else.
Last week, yes.
Of course you can.
Last week, in a dissent,
Immortality through legacy.
You wrote that you predict executive power will become completely uncontainable. Just today, a professor was quoted in the New York Times talking about you and said, Justice Jackson is trying to raise the alarm. Whether she is writing for the public or a future court, she is making a larger point about what she sees as not just the errors of the majority's position, but the dangers of it as well. Yeah. Does the current state of American democracy concern you?
Yeah, let's hear about it.
So I am actually heartened that people are focused on the court, the work that we're doing,
involved
on the state of the government.
Very involved.
Because again, as I mentioned, as a democracy, the people are supposed to be the rulers. The people are supposed to be leading in terms of the policies and the way in which our government operates. And so the more that people are engaged with our institutions, I think, the better. And so what I feel that I've been privileged to do is use the writings that I do, the work that I do.
There'll be so much pressure for me personally to be on the bench, to be a justice like this, and good for her. Good for her. I know she says it's a privilege. It is a privilege, but it's also a tremendous feat that just goes to show that we can do anything. We've already been showing that as like just the people of color, but we are continuously proving the white man wrong up in here. Just imagine how Kamala must have felt.
You mentioned Justice Breyer. One of the things he used to say, sometimes people say, well, the court is so secretive. Nobody knows what goes on in the court. And he used to always say, I don't understand that. We are the only institution where people actually write their opinions when they vote. They tell you exactly what it is. And I just feel that I have a wonderful opportunity to tell people, in my opinions, how I feel about the issues. And that's what I try to do.
I'm going to circle back on that. Just there's a famous quote that says, if you're not scared, you're not paying attention. And just because you have such a unique seat, are you concerned about the state of democracy today?
You know, my feelings about the state of democracy have been expressed in the context of my opinions when issues come up related to to democracy. So it's hard to say, you know, am I concerned in a general way? The concerns that I have articulated in my opinions.
I understand you've taken up boxing.
I have.
What made you get into that?
So actually, you know, I was looking for a physical outlet. So
gotta have one. I like to walk. Gotta have one.
And one of my detail members is a boxer, and she said, you should really try this. And I know someone who can train you, and he's been great. I really enjoyed it.
That must be fun.
In one dissent, you wrote, with let them eat cake obliviousness, today the majority pulls the ripcord and announces colorblindness for all. In a more recent dissent, you wrote, with deep disillusionment. And I'm not asking you about a particular case, but I am curious if you feel that some rulings pose an existential threat to the rule of law.
Well, I wrote that in one of my opinions, so I guess the answer is yes. You know, I think that we have different kinds of cases that have different implications.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, the court will consider issues that actually relate to the lives of almost everyone in the country.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have cases that are very narrow, that they really only affect a small number of people.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have cases that have those kinds of implications.
Tremendous.
And
it's hard to say everything as a whole.
Are there cases in which there are issues that have that kind of significance? Absolutely.
Let's go back to your freshman year of college at Harvard. It's right before your 18th birthday. You share this story in the book. You also shared it at your confirmation hearing. You were feeling down, lacking a little confidence. Can I do the work that's required here at Harvard? And a black woman who you hadn't seen before and haven't seen since passes you by, looks at you and simply says, persevere.
Sometimes
in the
that's
book
all
you
it
said,
takes. Let me tell you.
It's one
Say
word,
hi to everybody you
but
see.
it was everything. As we sit here today, finally, is there one word that you would give the audience, perhaps for somebody who is feeling doubtful, skeptical, unsure, uncertain?
Oh my goodness. I don't know that I would have a particular word. That story has obviously stuck with me because it felt like being given a lifeline.
Yeah.
You know, I was in this very strange new environment. As many freshmen who go off to college, you feel like you're a fish out of water. You're not familiar with this set of circumstances. And it was like, you know, a stranger giving me the key to survival on campus.
That's all it takes.
A black woman, like I said, who I didn't know, who just whispered that to me as we passed each other. So I would tell them, everyone, that kind of encouragement is something that we should all be giving one another in this very challenging time.
Absolutely.
We need to be there for one another, supporting each other, uplifting each other.
Stick
I
together.
don't know whether that woman saw the look on my face or whatnot, but she felt compelled to reach out to me.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage you all to do that for even strangers that you meet who may need a word from you.
They may really need it. Really.
Justice Jackson, we thank you so much.
And take advice too.
For the time.
Listen to the ones who are there for you and who are trying to look out for your best interest. That, my dear, was Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson reflects on life in the public spotlight. I said pretty much what I gotta say. Love each other, make sure that you care for each other, make sure that you inspire each other. I said earlier, immortality through legacy. If you want eyes to be on you, have the eyes on you. And if you don't want eyes to be on you, then you can live in solitude if you want. But at the same time, whenever you pass somebody, if you have the ability to do so, everybody has the ability, emotional ability, very understandably, to be like just that voice of encouragement to everybody. You know, it's not everybody's role, but if you have that ability, definitely utilize it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.